Hello, everyone. My name is Josie Pauley. I'm a junior at the Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville, majoring in Applied Communication Studies. And today I'm going to share some research I've been looking at with you. So the article I am going to be discussing is called Company Spokesperson versus Customer Testimonial, Investigating Quoted Spokesperson Credibility and Impact in Business-to-Business Communication. Together as a whole, we're going to explore what the study entailed, literature review, the research hypothesis, methods, and the finding of the study. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. What is the study about? This study was focused on discovering how a spokesperson's message is viewed in the eyes of an audience based on its credibility in business-to-business communication. So to sum that up in shorter terms, what the speaker says versus what the audience perceives. Before we hop into the study, I'm going to discuss some key terms that we need to keep in mind. First off, company spokesperson. And I did borrow these definitions from some different sites because they were not entitled in the literature review of the article. So a spokesperson is usually a member of a company's marketing department or a member of a public relations firm hired by the company. Their task is to present professional face and consistent message for the company in media interviews by Entrepreneur 2021. Next term I want to talk to you about is customer testimonial. It's the recommendations from satisfied buyers that affirm the value of a product or service by Davies 2019. Another term that wasn't listed in the literature review that I want you to keep in mind is an independent spokesperson. And that's a spokesperson that is an individual who's buying the product. They are not contracted into a company. So kind of an independent person talking about a product. And the third term is business-to-business communication. It refers to methods by which employees form different companies and can connect with one another, such as through social media. So this was a quantitative study. So there is 4 hypotheses and 1 research questions we're going to talk about today. And these are the exact hypotheses that are in the research studies, so we're as accurate as possible. The first hypothesis is business information will be perceived as more credible when a customer spokesperson is quoted than when a company spokesperson is quoted. Our second hypothesis is an audience will perceive business information about a company quoting independent source delivered through an independent media channel as more credible than the same information delivered through a company-controlled media channel quoting a company spokesperson. The third hypothesis is an audience will have a more positive attitude towards a product based on business information quoting a customer delivered through an independent media channel compared with business information delivered through a company-controlled media channel quoting a company spokesperson. Whew, that's a lot to say. And our fourth hypothesis is an audience with a low level of business expertise will perceive an independent spokesperson as more credible than those with a high level of business expertise will perceive a company spokesperson. Then we have our research question. How credible is a company spokesperson regarding customer testimonials? So let's move into the methods. This quantitative study uses an equation to configure the perceived credibility of a spokesperson on different media channels. And that is 2 times the source spokesperson times 7 media channel. Now we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the math part because we only have 7 to 8 minutes and that would take a good 20 to 30. So we're going to sum it upwards. So this research experiment was broken down into 2 categories, which included low and high level business expertise. So the people that participated that were volunteers to take this they took a questionnaire which was separated into 3 separate sections. The first section of the questionnaire was composed of questions to evaluate their level of business expertise. The second part introduced some situations where spokespersons were talking and they asked people to assess the credibility of the spokesperson using semantic differential questions. And lastly, the last part of the questionnaire was the Likert scale based to evaluate their views on seller and customer companies. So after the survey was completed, the research, then they went in to assess the results and form conclusions based on the study. So hypothesis number 1 was not fully supported by the results. The type of spokesperson associated with a particular media channel did not affect the credibility of the spokesperson. So it didn't matter if it was a company spokesperson or an independent spokesperson. The second hypothesis was in fact supported by the results though. This showed that people are more apt to trust business information presented by an independent spokesperson on an independent channel than through a company-controlled channel. So they were trusting people talking about these maybe on social media that have actually used the product than the actual company's page displaying the product. Our third hypothesis was also supported by the results, and this showed that viewers will have a positive attitude towards a product presented by an independent spokesperson rather than a company-controlled one. So rolling in through hypothesis 2 to hypothesis 3, very similar, trusting people rather than the company. So the fourth hypothesis was supported by the results, so 3 for 4. This showed that people with a lower level of business expertise will find a company's spokesperson more credible than that of someone with high level of business expertise. Now for a research question, let's remind us of it. How credible are company spokespersons in regard to customer testimonials? So the independent spokesperson is more credible in the eyes of the audience than that of a company-controlled one. So I hope this research presentation regarding the article discussed today has shown some light into how spokesperson are viewed in the eyes of the audience. After reading this article, it has shown me a different side of a spokesperson career that I was not expecting. However, I am still prepared to divulge myself into this career wholeheartedly. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to what the study entailed, literature review, research hypothesis methods, and the findings of this study. It has been a pleasure presenting to you this semester. And with bright minds like yours, who knows, maybe the next research study I will read will be yours. Thank you.